Hello students, Industrial Economic for BCom final 6th semester. So in previous video we have studied the relationship of industrial economics with the other sectors. So in today's video we will study about the relationship between agriculture and industry. Industry is not a substitute of agriculture, rather they are complementary to one another. Both these sectors are too attached to each other that it is impossible to increase the growth of one sectors without the improvement of other sectors. If the industries are there, no doubt they require raw material. So raw materials mostly come in Indian industries. Mostly the raw materials come from agriculture. Agriculture is considered as the backbone of Indian economy. If the agriculture is considered as the heart of the country, then the obviously industry will consider as a brain of country. So impact of agriculture on industries. Agriculture has used huge positive impact on industrial development, such as it regularly supplies raw materials like sugarcane, jute, cotton, oil seeds, tea, spices, wheat, paddy, etc. to good to the consumer goods industries. So these are the raw materials. They are brought in the industries and made finished goods. It supplies cereals, vegetables, and other food items to the industrial laborers and fooders of domestic for the fooders for domestic animals in dairy industries on the regular basis. So food items like agriculture for industrial labors and fodder for the domestic animals, that is for cow and all, the food is provided from agriculture. Then household used to save their money in their bank and other financial institution, which ultimately used by the industry's owner in form of investment. Both for consumer and capital goods, industrial agriculture sectors give a ready market for finished product. It regularly supplies manpower to the industries. You see, first one, it is here the investment is done. Second, the agriculture sectors, consumer and capital goods to the agriculture sectors. Then manpower. Next, impact of industries on agriculture. It is needless to mention what is the impact of industries on agriculture. It regularly supplies scientific tools and equipment like tractors, harvesters, pump setters, chemical fertilizer, etc. to agriculture to increase their production. To increase the market for finished agriculture goods, some infrastructural development like roads, railways, etc. are essential. In this connection, industries plays a vital role. The industrial provide huge employment opportunities and therefore helps to absorb overall surplus labor in our agriculture. This is the T this leads to more agriculture as well as industrial development. Then agriculture sector itself is a huge market for different finished products of industries. Farmers buy several industrial products like bicycles, torch, radios, etc. All this flourish from industries. Thus, in the nutshell, we can conclude that both agriculture and industries are complementary to each other for the development. Then next, we will study about the public sector, private sector, public sector and joint sector. In public sector, see here, the ownership that is in private sector, it is for non-government or individual. Public sector, it is government body, and in joint sector, it may be a government or private. So in objectives of this private sector, it is mostly for profit. Public sector, that is profit and social obligation, whereas joint sector can be profit and social obligation. Management in private sector, generally a private person are the owners of himself or their companies. Then government is the nominee. Then here mainly the board of directors represent the form of both the sides. See here the board of directors. Then progress progress and productivity. So generally high private sector, generally high progress, then public sector moderate, as well as joint sector moderate. Then accountability or liability, that is owner is liable, Then government is liable here, and here both owner as well as government. Then last one, recent position, open and liberal permission in any sectors. Then public sector limited to four sectors, that is defense, nuclear power and railways. Public sectors mostly defense is one, nuclear power plant, then railways. And then more opening in airlines, banking, insurance, housing and petrochemicals. So these are the. Then corporate sector, one more is the cooperative sectors. Cooperative sectors industries are operated and owned by the suppliers or the producers of raw material, workers or both. Cooperative movement in India gained a lot of impact after independence. Cooperative movements was encouraged in every village of India. So cooperative sectors, example Amul, they are cooperative sectors. Then again, Lacha Papad or small scale industries, those are also cooperative sectors. Lichat. Characteristics of cooperative society. Their profits are distributed, reduce financial risk, then mutual benefit to the members of low and middle class income group. Its formation and participation of members is voluntary by the natures. The government of India recognize cooperative society as an independent bodies. Then next, it is last, multinational companies or MNCs. What is multinational companies? That is, multinational companies is one which incorporate in one country is called as the home country, but those operations extend beyond the home country and which carry on the business in other countries, that is called as host country, in addition to the home country. Where first one, that is, they are incorporated in one country, then those operations are extended to the home country which carries the business in other countries, but the main head office remain in the home country. It must emphasize that headquarters of multinational companies are located in home countries. Features of multinational companies. First one, huge asset turnover. Huge asset turnover. Because of the operation on the global basis, the multinational companies has used physical and financial assets, which also result in huge turnover sales for MNCs. So when the business is on the global, they are globally business, they are running business on the global level or in many countries, there is a huge turnovers of sales. In fact, that in terms of assets and turnover, many MNCs are bigger than national economics of several countries. International operation through network or branches. So MNCs have production and marketing operation in several countries, operating through the networks of branches, subsidiaries and affiliates of host countries. So affiliates are there, then branches is there, networking is there. Then unity of control. MNCs are characterized by the unity of control. MNCs control business activities on their branches in foreign countries through the head office located in the home country. I had told unity of control. Then mighty economic powers. MNCs are powerful economic entities. They keep on trading, adding to their economic power through the constant merger and acquisition of companies in the host country. So there is a continuous, when MNCs come, they take the merger, they want consider merger and acquisition is there. Then advanced and sophisticated technology. What is the main advantage? Generally, MNCs had been commanded for the advanced and sophisticated technology. It employs capital intense technology in manufacturing and marketing. Then next one, professional management. A professional manager. MNC's employees are professionally and trained manager to manage huge fund and advanced technology and international business operation. They are continuous running in the business in the global level. So there will be advanced professionality in their employees. So aggressive advertising and marketing. MNCs spend huge sum of money on advertising and marketing to secure international business. This is perhaps the biggest strategy of success of MNCs. Because of this strategy, are able to sell whatever the product service they produce. They have vast, whenever MNCs, most multinational company launch a product, they have aggressive marketing and selling. So better quality of product, MNC has to compete with the world level. It therefore pays special attention to the quality of product. When you are marketing at the global level, there should be a competition, there should be a quality of product. So advantages of MNCs on the view of host country. What are the advantages on the basis of host countries? Generally, employment generation. When the company comes, foreign company comes to a host country, they create a employment generation. MNCs create a large scale employment opportunities in the host country. That is the biggest advantage of MNCs for the countries where there is lot of unemployment. Automatic flow of foreign capital. MNCs bring in such a needed capital for the rapid development of developing countries. In fact, with the entry of MNCs, inflow of capital, foreign capital is automatic. As a result, there is an entry of MNCs. Then proper use of idle resources. Because of these, their advanced technical knowledge, MNCs are in the position to properly utilize the idle and physical and human resources in the host country. Then next, improvement of balance of payment position. MNCs help the host country to increase their export. As such, they help the host country to improve the balance of payment, whatever the balance of payment import we have done. So balance of payment position can be improved. Technical development. MNCs carries the advantages of technical development of host country. In fact, the MNCs are the vehicle to transfer of technical development from one country to another. Because of the MNCs, poor host countries also began to develop technology. Managerial development. No doubt, MNC's employment, I had told you, MNC's employment list have latest management technique. People employed by MNCs do lot of research in management. In way of they help the professionalize management along with the latest line of management theory and practice. Then end of local monopolies. The entry of MNCs lead to the competition in the host countries. Local monopolies of host countries either start to improve their product to reduce their price. Thus, MNCs put to the end of exploitation practice of local monopolies. As a matter of fact, MNCs compel domestic companies to improve their efficiency and quality. Then last, limitation of MNCs. Danger of domestic industries. MNCs, because of their vast economic power, the pose of danger to domestic industries which are still in the process of development. The domestic industry cannot face the challenge given by the MNCs. Many domestic industries have wind up. As a result, they had trade from the MNCs. Thus, MNCs give a setback to the economic growth of host countries. Then repartitions of profit, meaning sending profit to their countries. MNCs earn huge profit, and their repartitions of profit by MNC adversely affect the foreign exchange reserves of the host country, which means that the large amount of foreign exchange goes out of host country. No benefit to poor people. MNCs produce only those things which are used by the rich. Before, the poor people of the host countries do not get generally any benefit out of MNCs. Danger of independence. Initially, MNCs help the government of host countries in a number of ways, and then gradually started affecting in the political matters of the host countries. Therein, the implicit danger of independence to the host country in the long run. Then discards of national interest of the host countries. MNC invests most of the most profitable sectors and discards the national goals and priorities of the host countries. They do not care for the development of backward region and never care to solve the chronic problems of host countries like unemployment and poverty, misuse of multi status. So, MNCs are powerful economic entities. They can afford to bear losses for the long while in the hope of earning huge profit once they have end the local competition and achieve monopoly. Then, careless exploitation of natural resources. Then, selfish promotion of alien culture. So there is a promotion from the alien culture and sell their product, their host country. They make the people forget their own culture and heritage. So MNCs. So this is also a disadvantage. So with this, we will end our today's video. Thank you.